Now, several leading cities around the world are waking up to the economic value of their airports. And South Africa's Ekurhuleni Metro near Johannesburg is devising a strategy to exploit its airport infrastructure to become an Aerotropolis. Now, in a recording for tonight's political exchange, Karima Brown asked Ekurhuleni Executive Mayor Mondli Ngungubele to explain the city's plans.
We think it's a strategic location and a strategic discovery for our situation. We have never been in an opportune moment to make use of what is historically located in our area. You know that the evolution of the economy has actually put airport economy to the front. It would have been said a number of times that in the olden days, goods were, the value to mass was always very low. Over time, the value to mass has gone very high. So you've got small goods in weight, but with high value. And then such type of goods, they are handy passages through air. As we speak now, you must have got your commercial facts of 1/3 in monetary terms of global trade being goods that are ferried through air, and air passengers in 18 years going to be up to about 13 or 11 billion. So looking at the airport that we have in South Africa, which is OR Tambo, the most strategic airport in the entire continent, endowed with road infrastructure, endowed with railway network. For instance, we consider ourselves the SADC hub, the rail hub of the SADC, or the SADC junction, if you like, because Joburg can't go to Durban without going via Germiston. They can't go to Cape Town, they'll go to Eastern Cape.
So you're leveraging your strategic geography in a way?
Yes. Okay. In other words, we connect, for instance, the entire Africa to the Indian port in Maputo. We connect the entire Africa through our rail line to the busiest port, which is Durban. So we are crisscrossed by a lot of freeways. So at the same time, we are hosting this strategic airport, which carries about 18 million passengers a year, and which is still under capacity. It's got capacity to go beyond 20 to 28 million. So looking at this, the biggest challenge is that we have realized that we are an Aerotropolis, but the weakness is that we didn't understand it and we did not exploit the opportunities. Thus, together with the province and the national government, put our heads together and said, let's exploit the opportunities. That's where we are at the moment.
Now, in terms of understanding this location as an Aerotropolis, what is it that you need to do differently, given the fact that you've always been in this location? What is it that you need to hook up and connect, so to speak, so that the geography speaks to the concept of an Aerotropolis?
The movement of goods is very key. Our accessibility is going to be key. As I said, there's a type of goods, light industrial products, perishable goods, time-critical goods. How do we organize to be the strategic carrier for those type of goods? Will go a long way in pulling in a lot of firms that produce these light industrial products, that produce these perishable goods, time-critical goods. Now, the challenge we have is that our cargo logistics need to be reorganized. In other words, we must reorganize ourselves in such a manner that we carry a heavy load in terms of these type of goods, but also the key driver of this type of economy, our IT must actually be of the best. That's why we are committed to the digital city plan. And the other challenge is that the road network must also be in its best situation. In other words, there must be a seamless movement between the strategic nodes, your City Deep, your Tambo Springs port, which is coming up, and the strategic nodes in Tshwane. Seamlessness in Gauteng towards the airport is going to be key. But the readiness of Tambo to deal with the load that will be coming there is going to be key. That's why, as I'm speaking to you, post the Airport Cities Conference, as I'm talking to you now, our technical people are evaluating a master planning tender. Right. The intention of this tender is to make sure that we then, having had a strategic roadmap, we commission a strategic roadmap. Before you do this, you produce a master plan, there must be a strategic roadmap. A strategic roadmap, what it does, it shows you the opportunities and constraints that lie in your airport and begin to give you a way in which you can exploit the opportunities and also unlock the constraints. To do so, We did a strategy roadmap which was completed. It's on the basis of that we have issued a tender for master planning. Applications have already been submitted. Our teams now are interrogating the tender. And once that tender is done, there are 2 stages that we expect it to operate. In 6 months' time, we expect them to present before us a 5-year implementation plan, because finishing the master plan is going to take about not less than 18 months. But people can't wait for 18 months.
Exactly.
So we said in 6 months of their appointment, which we hope is going to be May, from 6 months onward, they must table before us a 5-year interim implementation plan, which is going to show low-hanging fruits. As I'm talking to you, Karim, already around the airport, you see movement of cargo-related businesses and that are beginning to actually locate themselves. And you also see a lot of distribution, what to call, industries that are beginning to be there. But the challenge is we have adopted what we call a spatial framework for Region A. Region A is the region surrounding the airport. Ekurhuleni is big. Right. So the Region A surrounding the airport. The Aerotropolis must first grow from the airport to build that city. But for that to happen, you must have a clear spatial framework on what type of business is going to be there. We've already finished the spatial framework. What is required now, excuse me, is the land guidelines, land